Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron. I hope you're having an incredible day or night in Jesus. Thank you so much for being with us. We're looking at God's monotheism, the fact there's only one God, and we're looking at arguments from God's sovereignty that show us monotheism. Of course, the ultimate look is from Holy Scripture. Thanks for being with us. We're using the Plato Dictionary of Philosophy, Stanford Dictionary of Philosophy on plato.stanford.edu. Shows you why I'm doing this and not writing this. Okay, so let's get started. Two arguments of monotheism from God's sovereignty. The first is the argument from causal order. So let's look what that means. We'll just interact with the text for use a little bit. One of the most popular arguments for monotheism is drawn from the world's unity. If there were several designers who acted independently or at cross purposes, we'd expect to find evidence of this in their handiwork. One set of laws obtaining at one time or place, for example, and a different set of laws obtaining at a different time or place. Some would say that happened at the Big Bang, that the laws of nature were created as the Big Bang expanded outward, but initially they were different. Is it not Mueller, Wolfson, somebody in Germany, Schroeder, I think it is, goes into that about time, causality. We observe nothing of the sort, however. On the contrary, the unity of the world, the fact that it exhibits uniform structure, that is, single cosmos, strongly suggests some sort of unity in its cause. That there's either a single designer or several designers acting cooperatively, perhaps under the direction of one of their number. As some would say, the Father is the Father of the Trinity. Obviously, I would not use that terminology. I don't think that's biblical. Not just not biblical terminology, I don't think it's biblical understanding. So the basic thing, and it's not just Earth, it's the entire universe, show one set of laws, one set of purpose. And so that would argue strongly for one designer. I know back in the early 1800s, God's watchmaker, Paley, had a tremendous argument on that. That was required reading at Cambridge till the 20s. It's so good. I've been reading. It's really wonderful. So this evidence of divine causality from God's sovereignty does not force us to conclude that there's only one designer. And the ablest proponents of the argument have recognized this. Thus, William Paley, aforementioned, asserts that the argument proves only a unity of counsel if there are subordinate agents of presiding or controlling will. That's Paley, page 52. Nevertheless, in the absence of compelling reasons for postulating the existence of two or more cooperating designers, and I would say the argument of God's divine simplicity, the argument from Scripture, and the arguments of God's divine perfection would preclude more than one God. There's one creator. Beside me, there is no God. There's one creator. According to Isaiah, so many other scriptures, in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth. That this is another compelling argument that there wasn't a council at creation. And so considerations of simplicity suggest we ought to posit only one designer. It isn't clear that there are any. Some have thought that the existence of evil and apparent disorder is best explained by postulating conflicts between two or more opposed powers. Whether this is true or not, evil and apparent disorder provides no reason for preferring the hypothesis of several cooperating designers to the hypothesis of a single designer. And that's getting a little bit into Kabbalism, believe it or not. But I would say that's just because of sin. That is, having once decided that natural good and natural evil are consequences of operation of a single system of laws, their cause must therefore be unitary. The existence of evil and apparent disorder is to longer relevant to the question of monotheism. A posteriori arguments of this type can't be used to show that there can be only one God, however, that monotheism is conceptually required by the theist concept of divinity. A more powerful argument for God's sovereignty remedies this deficiency. So, causality, God's sovereignty, certainly looks like there's just one creator. Remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth. Romans 1, that there's one God, one creator. I would not say that is a slam dunk argument. I would use it as a secondary argument for monotheism. But we're going to look a little bit further at God's sovereignty and monotheism, God willing, tomorrow. And so just know there's one God. He loves you very much. He's also holy. He's going to judge us. But he took the punishment for us when he came as a man in Jesus Christ. We love you. Serve him. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.